The iPhone 16's biggest upgrade is not going to be the larger sizes, or the new main camera sensor on the 16 Pro Max, or even the new capture button. It's actually going to be the A18 Pro chip. And here, I'm not referring to the performance upgrade that we'll get, which, by the way, are significant, but rather everything else that this chip will enable us to do. Oh, and we're also doing an iPhone 15 giveaway, more details on how to enter later in the video. Okay, so there are 3 areas of improvements that the A18 Pro chip will give us: AI, battery life, and thermals. And while the A17 Pro was limited to the iPhone 15 Pros only, this year we are set to get both the A18 Pro as well as a standard A18 in the non-Pro models of the iPhone 16, likely with some of the cores disabled. Which means that all of these improvements will apply to all iPhone 16 models. So let's start off with AI, which is really the biggest iPhone 16 upgrade, and something that the A18 chip will be extremely crucial for. Apple has already teased AI as being part of WWDC 2024, and we already know that Apple's planning to launch some big AI features in iOS 18. There's said to be a completely revamped version of Siri, as well as tons of on-device AI features in Apple's other first-party apps. And of course, to be able to power all of those features, Apple also needs a chip, which would be the A18. Now, with the A17 Pro, Apple more than doubled the neural engine's performance, from 17 TOPS, or trillions of operations per second, to 35, which was actually more than even the N3 chip's neural engine, which can do 18. And while, sure, measuring just TOPS alone can be misleading, as it really depends on the use cases, we do know that the A17 Pro was already a big upgrade over the A16 in terms of its neural engine. In fact, if we take a look at the A17 Pro chip design, we can see that a significant amount of space is actually taken by that neural engine. And I think what's really surprising here is that Apple has been able to do all of this with the same number of cores for their neural engine, which literally stayed the same since the iPhone 12 at 16 cores. And with the A18 chip, Apple is said to be significantly upgrading their neural engine cores, which makes me think that they might even double the amount from 16 to 32, in turn making the whole chip even bigger. Now, after hearing this, you probably have 2 questions. Number 1, what sort of AI features will we see? And number 2, will the iPhone 15 Pro also have those features, considering that it also has a very powerful neural engine? Well, to answer the first question, Apple has been exploring on-device generative AI. So we could see things such as automatic transcriptions and translations from voice notes, being able to straighten and extend images, and also being able to quickly summarize notes and emails. Essentially, the type of features that we've already started seeing on other phones like the S24 Ultra. Now, I should also mention that despite the S24 Ultra having a ton of really cool AI features, including things like being able to automatically translate a phone call in real time, I didn't actually find myself using any of them. And the reason being that most of these features are restricted to Samsung's own apps. And since I don't use Samsung's browser or Samsung's gallery app, I just had no use for those features. On my iPhone, I definitely do use more of Apple's own apps, but even there, I still prefer using Google Photos over Apple Photos, Google Maps over Apple Maps, as well as Notion for all of my important notes as opposed to Apple Notes. So I think that most of the AI features that we'll get, at least the on-device ones, will be app-specific rather than OS-specific. However, I am pretty sure that we'll still get some AI features that will work just about anywhere, probably some sort of Siri recommendations. Which brings us to the second question. Will the iPhone 15 Pro also have some of these AI features? And personally, I think that it will for sure have the power to drive those on-device AI features. After all, Apple is already using AI in many areas of their iOS. Photos automatically categorize your photos based on faces, places, and more. Siri is already able to give you suggestions based on your app usage, and then the Journal app already knows a ton about you based on everything you do in a day, and all of this is already processed on device. Now, whether or not Apple actually gives the 15 Pro these AI features or they decide to limit these to the iPhone 16s only is a whole nother story. After all, Apple is known to software lock a number of their features to their latest iPhones only. The iPhone 15, for example, introduced the new 24-megapixel photo mode, which was entirely lacking from the 14 Pros, despite using the exact same A16 chip. Then, night mode was only introduced with the iPhone 11s, and at first only on the main module. Then the 12s added it to the ultrawide, and then the 13s added it to the telephoto too. And today, the latest SE still doesn't have it. Same goes for Siri, which was initially limited to the iPhone 4S, despite the iPhone 4 clearly being able to run it, as shown by certain jailbreaks. So in my opinion, Apple will for sure limit some AI features to the iPhone 16s only, in order to sell more units. But I do believe that the iPhone 15 Pros will still get some AI features as well, just probably not all of them. Kind of similar to what Samsung has done with the S24 and the S23, where the S23 had some AI features, whereas the S24 had all of them. Now, aside from AI, the second big iPhone 16 upgrade made possible by the A18 chip is going to be even further improved battery life. But before that, here's how you can enter our iPhone 15 giveaway. Simply join our new ZONEofTECH Discord, link in the description, and then go to the competition announcements channel, where you can learn everything about this competition and how to enter. Basically, all you have to do is submit a wallpaper spec idea, and the best idea will win an iPhone 15 plus a 1 year of full access wallpaper subscription. Plus, your pack will even get made. Your submissions have so far been amazing. Also, shout out to Damien21 for his pretty awesome dynamic wallpapers pack idea, where the wallpapers change their style and design based on the time of day. So good luck to everyone, I look forward to seeing your submissions. And today we're also launching our 8th new pack for April, Blissful Birds by Mathy, with 10 stunning wallpapers of different bird breeds, all in different colors and also in 8K, so that you can use them on all of your devices. And you can find Blissful Birds in our Apple wallpapers for iOS and Android. Okay, and now back to the iPhone 16's battery. The iPhone's battery has had this really weird evolution. The iPhone 11s had a remarkable battery life, then the 12 was a downgrade. The 13 was an upgrade, the 14 was again a downgrade, and the 15 was another upgrade. So we kind of have this pattern here, which may imply that the iPhone 16 is going to be another downgrade, which if we take a look at the larger screens on the Pro models and the larger and more powerful neural engine, it does make sense that the 16 will consume more power. However, because of a number of reasons, I do think that the iPhone 16's battery might actually break this cycle. You see, the A18 chip is said to be manufactured on TSMC's new N3E process, as opposed to the N3B that the A17 Pro is manufactured on. The N3E is still based on a 3nm process, but it is a refined version of it that has between 30 to 35% lower power consumption. And I should also mention that the N3E is going to be TSMC's main manufacturing node going forward. N3B was a node that only Apple was using, and not only did it take longer to produce and was way more expensive, but N3B was not even compatible with N3E at all. So what this means is that the A18 chip will need to be designed entirely from scratch on this new N3E node, rather than being a modified A17 Pro, resulting in even further power efficiency gains. Now, on top of this, we already know that the iPhone 16s are getting larger batteries, the only exception being the iPhone 16 Plus, which is decreasing by 8.6%, but all the other iPhones are going up. So combining the efficiency of the A18 chip with the larger batteries, I think that we may even see a better battery life, or at least the same one as on the iPhone 15s when it comes to the iPhone 16s. Well, probably not the 16 Plus. And the third upgrade that the A18 chip will give us is improved thermal performance. There were many reports, especially at launch, that the iPhone 15 Pros overheated so much that they even gave you a temperature warning whilst charging, something that I've experienced too. Apple did eventually fix this via software updates, but even now, when you're gaming, the iPhone does overheat quite heavily, resulting in some serious throttling after long gaming sessions. Android manufacturers have solved this issue by introducing vapor chambers. Phones like the OnePlus 12 have some truly massive ones indeed, something that Apple has been avoiding for many years now. Luckily, this seems to be changing with the iPhone 16s. Not only is the A18 chip going to be producing less heat by being manufactured on the new N3E node, but Apple is said to be introducing graphene cooling to the iPhone 16s, as well as a metal shielding to the battery, both to help reduce internal temperatures. Now, I should mention that vapor chambers are still said to be more capable at cooling than graphene sheets, which are usually very thin. But having graphene would still be able to reduce the iPhone's internal temperature without a need for Apple to fully redesign the internals. So it will for sure be more effective than what we have now, which is basically nothing. So these are the three benefits of the A18 chip, but of course, we are also getting even more performance out of it. Some leaked benchmarks that were posted on Weibo seem to show significant improvements over the A17 Pro. The first post, now deleted, showed a 22% higher single-core performance and a 28% faster multi-core, while the second showed a 19% faster multi-core. Overall, the 18 Pro is indeed looking like it's going to be a beast, and I cannot wait for all the improvements and the new features that it will bring to the iPhone 16 lineup. And if you want to continue this conversation, then definitely check out our Discord channel. I'm Daniel, this means ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.